Audio for Jen.
To the cloud. Well, this is how we get the audio too.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear Kingston or no?
No, I can't.
Okay. He's tippy tapping over there because I'm in the kitchen. Jen, I've been spoiling eggs in the morning, and now whenever I'm in the kitchen, he thinks he's getting an egg. Either way.
Eggs are good for dogs.
I swear that's what helped Bailey and Lily live as long as they did, because I would give them eggs in the morning and
Mhm.
they have the best coat, everything. Either way. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back to the Doggone Rescue. Wait, nope. Welcome back to the Doggone Truth About Rescue with Always and Forever, episode 2 of season 5. And we've had a few weeks, maybe a month or two since we released episode 1. We were so excited to launch season 5. And then, as I say, way too often life happens. And somehow the podcast gets put on the back burner. But I think all of our listeners can hopefully understand and respect that. So from episode 1 to episode 2, we're already having a catch-up episode because so many things have happened since we launched the season. So with us tonight is our favorite guest. Don't let that go to your head. Jen Bosky.
It all goes to my head. It does.
I should say our most common guest.
Well, that's hurtful. So I mean, you just went from a compliment to hurt. So
I'm so sorry. And then Sai, of course.
Hi.
We are all here today. So Jen, I'm literally just going to give you the mic, and wherever you want to fill us in on. I mean, I've been following on the pages of Wichita, puppies, everything in between, since the last episode we've had. So wherever you want to start, really. The lighthouses, how can I even forget the lighthouses? Those are up and running. So maybe we should start there.
every time we start one of these podcasts, I say, I should have listened to the last one before so I knew where we were because we do take such a break. And with Always and Forever, if you follow us in any form of social media in any capacity, even we have weekly newsletters now too, which are amazing updates for people via email. So much changes, not only in a day or two, but between a week, 2 weeks, a month. And since our last podcast, our Wichita shelter is open and it's up and running. And of course, I said it's only old dogs and neonatal kittens. And guess who's in there? It's a mama and 11 puppies and
That
older
are
cats at the
so
moment.
cute.
Oh
That
my
one
God. Like,
looks like Kingston's replica, and I
uh-huh.
was so tempted. And you kept using it as the cover photo for everything of the gray,
I know. I
white
thought the
face,
same
blue
thing.
eyes, and I'm like, this is a baby Kingston. Like, I can't do it. But then most
It is.
recently, I saw he has been adopted, so
It
I'm
has
in,
been
I'm in the
adopted.
clear there. But the most adorable puppies.
But
You
they're
should
like
check them out if you haven't.
multicolored little Aussie pit mixes that are just beautiful and they're so cute. And, you know, let's all take a moment and blame Kelly Fry for going on vacation for 2 weeks. So she is our intake coordinator. And, anytime somebody steps out, we have somebody kind of fill in the role because ultimately that's the goal. That's the purpose is that we're creating a legacy for this to live on beyond all of us, to truly change the world and make it a better place. And God, she went on a family vacation, God forbid. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, well, we've got these openings. We just got approved for our Wichita animal shelter license. And I knew that we had the space. And at this moment, this last week, this past couple weeks, gosh, there's a huge need for mamas and puppies that were going to be euthanized at kill shelters. So I actually tagged 3 mamas and 26 puppies in 2 days. And this was right before she was coming back too. Because I'm like, oh, well, we just got approved. We've got people there. We've got, volunteers. And with the seniors, to move into a shelter environment like that, you've got to get them vetted. You got to make sure that they're dog friendly. You got to make sure it's the right fit. But with the mama and puppies, I'm like, they're going to die. And if we sit here and we wait and we figure out what we're doing, well, we have all these resources, 12 lives are gone. then 9 lives are gone. Then overall, 29 lives are gone because 3 mamas and 26 puppies. And I'm a big believer in just diving in the deep end and figuring out how to swim together. So apologies in advance to our amazing Wichita staff that had zero knowledge of this. And I was just like, hey guys, here's a mama and 11 puppies, not like 3 or 4, but like 11 constantly pooping, constantly peeing, very, very active, beyond adorable, tiny little nuggets. And they came there from Oklahoma City, and it's just that's the crazy faith that we have to know that even though we don't know what we're doing, it might not be the circumstances that we thought. We're going to figure it out in order to save their lives. Now, Sarah Mills, she actually stepped up to foster one of our other mamas, one of the mamas with, I think they've got five, she's got 5 little puppies, and every night she shares a live, and it's so cute because she turns into this like cuddly, super cute, like I love personally to watch how people transform when they talk to a puppy or when they talk to like a baby kitten or an old dog. Everybody has that voice, and I turn into like a 12-year-old girl. It's ridiculous. Don't so if you need to, mute me on the morning lives that I have, because you just have that. It's an innocence where you're just with this soul that literally looks to you as if you are everything. And it's the sweetest, most special little bond. So to watch Sarah raise these puppies, she's done it before. It's special. And we all tune in every night to watch her lives because it's so, number one, the commitment to bring a foster dog and puppies into your home, especially when they need supplements and mama isn't feeding all the time. It's huge. It's amazing the sacrifices that fosters make to save lives. And yet to see her do that while she works her full-time job too with us, and then our staff learning as they go out there with the puppies and the volunteers coming out, it's such a beautiful journey. And while we are going to be a senior sanctuary out there, to know that, hey, when life throws a curveball, you just keep going. You go with it. You don't just hide in a shell and say, no, we can't do it, because they would die. So in, I think it wasn't even the 2 weeks that she was gone, I had controlled myself. I took a deep breath. While she was gone, I think we brought in 46 animals in just like probably 3 days, something like that, because we had lost um, we had lost a dog we had tried to save from Wichita Animal Shelter. And if you guys know, and everybody who has followed us knows, they will not let us legally pull from there because we will not sign an agreement that says we won't say anything publicly that says they are a kill shelter, that a dog is going to die, that a cat is going to die, or anything derogative that they deem derogative towards them or the Kansas Humane Society. Now, the Kansas Humane Society has control over who is allowed to save a life. Let that sink in a moment. A humane society gets to decide which rescue that is licensed by the state of Kansas to be an animal shelter or an animal rescue says, no, you can't save this life because you won't sign our agreement that says you won't say anything publicly against us, even if it's true. So think about that for a moment. They would rather an animal die than a reputable licensed animal rescue shelter by the Department of Agriculture under the Kansas Pet Act save a life. So we tried to save a dog through another rescue, and they were going to transfer to us, all very legal. And they decided to kill him, and he died. And we saw his photo, and those stay with you.
How
Like
was
the
that
photos.
decision made? So
What
you had already tagged, or the other rescue had already tagged, and even though it was tagged, they can overrule that and just decide to euthanize.
they it's all very ridiculous. And so if they suspect that if the animal is coming to us, yes, they will deny the tag. Nothing is governed by the Department of Agriculture with regulations of tagging an animal, which means basically saying the commitment, because it gives deference to the county, to the city, and to whoever is running that shelter. So because ultimately the state and the laws define these animals as property. You know, their numbers, their inventory, and then when a city or a county or a humane society decides they don't want them, they throw them away. And that's the kindest way that I can say what they do to them. And to know that we lost a soul that we were willing to take. They actually then their excuse was they deemed the dog aggressive, which it wasn't. It was terrified. It was cowering in the corner in fear.
Is
And
it
to
the
anybody
all
that
black one with the very sweet eyes that you posted?
um in the volunteer group, yeah, we named him Sharvie. And
Am I
when
allowed to see that, the descriptions?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I share it. Here's the thing, you guys, I share everything. And to the rescue and shelter that doesn't share, to the rescue and shelter that says they're perfect, that says that they love them all the time and life is la la land and rainbows, they're lying to you. You know, anybody that says they're perfect, anybody that isn't striving towards being better every single day than you were yesterday to build a better tomorrow is lying, because we're human beings doing the best we can in the circumstances we're in. So ultimately, if you're doing right, if you are leading with love, there is nothing to hide, even when you screw up, because someone else can learn from your mistakes. And that's ultimately why we will not sign an agreement that says we will not share the truth, because animals are dying. Animals are dying by the thousands in Wichita. And ultimately, we lost Sharvie. And for me, when I feel a loss, when I feel stuck in grief or even overwhelming anxiety, you know, I even shared this on a live tonight. You can sit in anxiety, you can sit in pain, you can sit in fear, or you can shift it and sit in gratitude. And you can't really be in both. And when you shift to gratitude, the fear starts to melt away. And now the pain of grief doesn't go away. But what did we do? That was a spot that we had saved for him. And I thought, well, you know what? Let's just save another dog. And that one dog ended up having 11 puppies. And then after that, I saw another mama with puppies and I saw another mama with puppies. And I'm like, I'm feeling a little better. Let's just tag them all. So it was like tag, tag, tag. And then everyone's like, well, where are they going? And I'm like, I don't know, but they're not going to heaven and we're going to figure it out. So it's, and that's what we do. We take the craziest, most gigantic leaps of faith, and we will say, let's do this together without the funds, without the background, without the experience, and let's get them to Wichita and figure it out. So while we had planned for it to be a senior sanctuary in Wichita, right now there are puppies there. 3 of them are adopted, 8 more need homes, and in 2 weeks they can go to a foster forever family.
That's what I was wanting to come back to, the puppy conversation, especially with it being closer to the holidays
Yep.
and talking one, how old they were and how long it was until they could get adopted. So one, they can get adopted before they're ready, correct? And
They
then
can, yes, but they can't
tag,
leave mama. They can't
right.
leave mama until 8 weeks and weaned. So it was their 6-week birthday today. So they can go in 2 weeks.
And then the conversation of litter mate syndrome. Are in getting a puppy, do we require someone to have another dog at home? Can they adopt more than one at a time?
Really, really good question. When we get these adorable litters, everybody wants to. Now, litter mate syndrome is a very, very real thing where you get a sibling that they do great for about a year, maybe a year and a half, could be 2 years, it could be longer on. And then all of a sudden, the energy shifts and it turns from love to hate. And what we do, there's tons of research on that will support it and share it much more detailed than I do. But in all honesty, when we have a breed that it could turn in a very dangerous way, we will not allow litter mates to be adopted together. It's just easy. It's smarter. It's safer. Let's set you guys up for success. There are adorable puppies everywhere. Get another pitty from a different litter and let them become bonded, because they're not truly bonded as puppies. They need to be together with other puppies with their litter mates until they're at least 8 weeks. And we do require that you are going to socialize a puppy if you get a puppy. So ideally, they're in a home with another dog, even a cat. And if you don't have another dog, you have a plan in place that you will tell us how you're going to socialize this animal, because that 6 months or that 2 months to about a year, year and a half, that is when they learn how to interact with other dogs, how to interact with human beings, how to not be afraid of cars. That's where you want to take them on the adventures and let them experience life, not be afraid of it. And so what you find is when people see this super cute puppy and they take one home and they never walk it, they only put it in their backyard and nobody comes and visits, well, then what's going to happen? They might start resource guarding your person. They might resource guard their home. They might be super reactive to other dogs and other people. And then all of a sudden, 2, 3 years later, this dog's aggressive. I don't want him anymore. Dump him at the kill shelter. And you guys got him as a puppy, but ultimately it's the responsibility of a pet parent to help them understand what the world is like and help them experience that too. So yeah, we do require that, and we'll walk you through that. We started, Michaela and Sammy started our little foster puppy class. So they had their first foster puppy class. It was super adorable to see the photos. So we're constantly evolving to set you guys up for success as a foster as well as an adopter too.
So could you foster two at a time?
Absolutely. You
Did
can
you-
foster the whole litter. Take the whole litter. Like literally, you guys are heroes. Fosters are heroes. But yeah, you absolutely can. And it just really is down the road. But we always need fosters too. And if you don't know what a foster is, as silly as this sound, and I say that, I didn't know what a foster was when I was in college and in law school. My sister told me she was fostering a dog, and she's like, "Oh, well, they pay for everything." I'm like, "That's so weird. Why do you have a dog that someone else is paying for?" I don't understand it. And conceptually, I didn't get it. And I was like, gosh darn it, now I get it. Because they're helping save lives and they're investing in this life and supporting. And it's just such a beautiful thing. But where was everybody when I was in law school? I couldn't afford dirt, and I would have loved to have a dog to take care of and love if somebody else was paying the food that I couldn't afford. So it's such a beautiful thing to where it is about all of us coming together and say, hey, let's find my strengths, let's go with your strengths, and let's come together and find a way to save lives. And that's the beauty of rescue. It doesn't work without every single one of us.
You know, what's the beauty of rescue is how you're changing the landscape of it. We're going to talk about lighthouses.
Our lighthouses.
They're
I
up and running, right?
So they are up and running. We still have not had Evergy
Right?
turn the power on yet. That's everything is done. Everything is approved. All the electricity is in. We literally just need Evergy to go there and like hit some switch, some magic switch. Nobody worry, it's not cold out. We have temperature thermometers in there. We're monitoring. And when it did drop to a really cold temperature, we moved all the dogs inside the shelter. So we're constantly monitoring that. But when I talk about the lighthouses, when I think about the
Look at
lighthouses,
your
when I
face glowing.
I I can't help it. You light up inside, and I get teary because I was there. I was there the day that I pulled up into the car into Osawatomie, and all I heard was dogs scream. I was probably a half a football field away, and all you hear were the screams inside a shed with no windows, with a smell that would soak into your skin and leave you sick to your stomach, with no light, with moldy food bowls, with no water. And that was actually the very first time that I had nightmares about rescue, because I took it home with me, and you could just feel the weight in your soul about these animals screaming for someone to come in and change it, and to know what it was, to where 5.5 years later, what it is, you can't help but feel so much hope and so much pride and so much gratitude for people never giving up, because the journey of Osawatomie with the city, with city council, with the mayor, they had every reason to kick us out. I gave them every chance. When I thought I was doing the right thing by picking a fight, I did jeopardize the rescue, because at one point there was no AC. So what did I do? I screamed, I shouted, I wrote a Facebook post, I made an enemy. And the growth journey along the way to recognize it wasn't about anybody else changing. It was about us changing, us looking inside and say, okay, maybe nobody else will change, but what can we do? And that's really what we did. We couldn't get anyone to change. So we said, okay, well, let's volunteer our time. So we did that. And then we tried to renovate the building. We said, okay, well, can you apply for a grant? And it never happened. And then we said, okay, well, let's buy the building. And so then we did. And then we renovate the building, and then the building's beautiful. But what happened is just dog next to dog next to dog screaming. And we're like, okay, well, we renovated this building, but yet we didn't change the interior, like functionality of it. Well, and so then we take a step back, and that's the evolution of the lighthouse. Well, maybe let's do something different. Let's think outside the box. Let's buy a pre-manufactured shed. Let's insulate it. Let's completely renovate it. Let's put mini splits on each side. We'll make it a duplex. We'll have windows everywhere. We'll have doors, and we'll put private fenced in yards, and let's give them peace. And to know that it wasn't just a random idea that happened. It was the process of trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. That is the journey of success. You can't have success without failure. You can't. You can't change the world without trying and falling flat on your face and having everybody judge you, everybody laugh at you, everybody calling you crazy, everyone saying it's impossible, and to keep going. And to know that we have so many people out there that believe that change is possible. And let me just tell you guys, holy hell, change is hard. Change is so unbelievably hard, because everybody in the organization too, as well as outside, fight it because we are, creatures of habit. Go ahead.
What were some of what word am I thinking of? Hold on, I'm gonna have to edit this out. What was some of the pushback that you got on the lighthouses when you first proposed it?
Oh, well, we just invested all this money in the building. We purchased KCMO. Now you want people to believe in the lighthouses. You're scattered all over the place. You just leased a building in Wichita. You're renovating Wichita. You're taking resources away from one thing to go to another thing. And do you really know that these will work? How do you know that they'll be warm in the winter? How do you know that they'll be cool in the summer? Why do you think people will believe in it? And honestly, you can find a million reasons why they won't work, and you can find one reason to try. And to me, that's why I bought the very first one. I didn't even ask the board approvals. I said, if I screw it up, it's my money. No, it's not other people's money, because I think that's incredibly important too, not taking risks with a donor's money. We have a fiduciary duty to them, and in a lot of ways we do, but we always share it first when there is financial activity, investment, such like that. And there's so many unknowns. Will we get the staff out there? It's in the middle of nowhere. Will people believe in this? I post these videos where it just makes my heart sing, and it's like 30 seconds long, and it just shows the lighthouses, and it shows the inside, and you can feel the peace. I can feel the peace in the video. And then you get these mean, hateful comments. Why are you spending so much on dogs and cats when you should be saving the homeless? So no matter what you do in this world, there's always going to be someone that doesn't agree with you, that thinks you're not doing it right, or thinks you should be doing something else. And honestly, there's very, very few times that I sit and read the comments, because I always tell our staff and our team, our volunteers, let the peanut gallery be the peanut gallery. They're the peanut gallery for a reason. And you know who your supporters are, you know who the people are that love you, and you know that God loves you, and you know what you're doing is for a higher good. And if you're not doing something that is making people hate you, then you're just like everybody else. You're not changing the world. So it's gonna invite a lot of criticism, a lot of fear. But like I said, when I feel that fear, when I start to feel that anxiety, because this was such a huge endeavor, I take a moment and I focus on sitting in gratitude about how lucky am I to be the person to have the weight of this on my shoulders.
I use that so often lately. And I remember last year you brought that up when I was struggling with some stuff of the privilege it is to have to be in this position of having the feedback, having people reach out to you, the leadership role. It takes a minute to sit back and view it from a different lens sometimes. But
Um,
you've mentioned it before on a podcast, and I just want you to know that that resonates with me very often.
I love that. It's a beautiful thing because if you really truly think about it and you're so scared and you're so anxious, your heart races and you don't know what to do, and you just sit and you go, wow, how cool is this that God chose me to carry this? Because in a lot of ways he wouldn't choose you, he wouldn't choose me to have these if he didn't know that we would figure it out. And it, everything is perspective. It is. I know without a shadow of doubt I'm meant to do what I'm doing right now. And we are put here to show people that it's not going to take $20 million to save the world. Now, I do love to go buy a lottery ticket, open up a notebook, and plan out how I'm going to spend like $300 million because it's so funny. I always want people to dream. And I love that because what would happen, and I have a couple notebooks now with it, is I know exactly what we're going to do with it. And I was sharing with a friend, I'm like, if we win the lottery, if I won the lottery, how much work Always and Forever would be doing. Nobody's going on vacation. Like you're all going to work. There's things to do. This is like the world to change here. But it's just when I think about the lighthouses, Olathe Animal Shelter, Wayside Waves, they are opening, Olathe is opening a new animal shelter. I think they're putting 15 to 18 million dollars into their shelter. Wayside Waves is about to kick off a capital campaign, $26 million. What are they doing? They're renovating their entire shelter to be bigger kennels, bigger runs. Essentially, they're remodeling the buildings that they currently have to be a shelter similar to what it already is. Olathe is putting up a shelter just like every other shelter out there. What are we doing? We are asking people to invest in one single lighthouses that houses 2 dogs at a time, minimum. Now, if they have dog friends, there can be more dogs in there. If it's a mama and a litter of puppies, it can be 1 in 11 dogs in there. But we're saying $20,000 for even if it was just 2 souls to change the quality of their life right now. And I always just beg people to understand this is the only life this soul is ever going to get to. And God put this soul in our care. And I was explaining to my dad because my dad's like, well, you have this property in KCMO. Why don't you just put kennels up in there? And I'm like, we would be literally just like everybody else. And in all honesty, we were putting plans in there to have suites and larger kennels. And then we stopped and we paused, and everything inside us just said, we were not meant to do that. We were meant to show people that number one, it is possible. It is possible to have a different way and not need millions of dollars. And I put this one TikTok post up on my personal page, and it was just like a 45 seconds of the lighthouses, the pictures, and something that I could truly feel. And everybody's like, if I won the lottery, there'd be signs. I didn't win the lottery. I haven't won the lottery. Of course, there would be signs if I won the lottery. There'd be a million little tiny homes all over this earth for veterans, for everybody. We just put tiny homes everywhere. But it just starts with a belief that it's possible. Because think about it, people want to invest in something they know is going to make a difference. And I say it every single day. I avoid shelters. I avoid it with everything I can because I hate it because I leave sick knowing that dog is in a cage, that cat is in a kennel, and nobody's going to let it out for the entire day because the state of Kansas, the state of Missouri does not require you to walk a dog if it's in a shelter at all. So if your dog is lost at Wichita Animal Shelter, it will go there for 3 days And if the Kansas Humane Society doesn't decide that it wants it or lets a rescue tag, it will be drugged down the hall and put to sleep. And that is everything that we fight against. And that is the lowest of low standards for the most loving, amazing creatures that God gives us. And that goes the same thing for horses and all animals. And it's just like, God, they deserve so much more because they love us when we don't even love ourselves. And that's the most beautiful love that is on this earth, to love a being that has no reason to love you. And that's what dogs and cats do every day. Now, my cat's a little mean, so she's on the spectrum with that. So, well, I don't know if she makes the cut on that. She just bit me the other day. But
She has
it's
come
like,
so far. Give her grace.
she has come so far. I do remember the day you're like, she's so friendly, and you're sitting upstairs with me, and then she starts swatting you. And I was like, I'm so glad I have that on video. But it's just a different way of saying we can do this. And it's $20,000 each lighthouse, and we have 11 lighthouses up. Now, the 12th one will be going up on next Wednesday, and it's the second one for the cats. Oh, or no, the 11th one. We have 10 up right now. So at Oz, that's what we have. All the private yards are up, so each one has a private yard, and then there's 3 ginormous yards as well there. So we've got a really cool system, and every single dog has 3 hours of individual one-on-one time per day. And that's a 5-to-1 animal to staff ratio. And opening and closing, we're open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. because, like I said, this is their one life, and they deserve to be loved during it. Yeah.
Can you touch on the transition from the little gray barn dogs down to Oz? Because that's where they ended up, correct?
That is. So we had a couple little fires at our little gray barn. And then, of course, we're like, we can't risk our people as well as our animals. And we just immediately terminated our lease. We found out the electrical wasn't up to code. It was grandfathered in, so they weren't going to do anything. And we couldn't risk it. So within 4 days, we packed everybody up. We moved everybody out. And it was such a huge, amazing effort by the volunteers to do that. The trips, the supplies, we weren't ready. Of course, we don't wait till we're ready. We do it when we need to do it. And we've got staff members that now drive, some of them up to an hour and a half every day to make the trip. But the most special part, even though it was complete chaos, it was panic and frantic and constant trying to organize and get everything ready. The absolute best part was the drive up when these dogs that only had tiny little yards for a year and a half got to run. They got to be in these huge fenced in yards, and to watch Shep chase after a ball, to watch Pritchett run around, and to see Millie snuggle into her chair. And Eclipse. Eclipse is on her toddler bed, wrapped up in a blanket. They sleep out in their lighthouses now, and it's the most incredible thing. I am so jealous of our staff because I still work full time, obviously, as an attorney. They get to wake up every day and care for these and dogs and cats. And when the lighthouses finally were up and they were in their rooms, I was like, I'm gonna go wake them up before the staff comes. So I get up at 3 a.m. here. I wake up the dogs here at 4 a.m. and then I run over there and I'm there at 5:30. I'm like doing a live for 40 minutes. I was just going in the dark because there's no electricity and I've got my phone on. I didn't have a headlamp and I'm like with the light, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. And it's so, you can't help but get excited and feel that energy. And when the polls were going up from Evergy, every little step along it was just like tears of joy and gratitude. Because again, you go back to that very first day where all you could feel was this horrific pain, to now when you pull down that lane and you see our sign and you see the paw prints and you see the lighthouses, it's hope. It's literally hope to know that what it was to where we are to how we see the future. This is amazing. And we even just had another little rescue reach out and say, hey, how'd you do this? This is, we're gonna do one of these, and we want to learn from you. And it's like, that's the most inspiring thing, to know that what we did touched one single other soul, to say we can do this too. And that's the thing, we will share all the mistakes. Okay, so here's some mistakes. You want to get a door that opens in, not out, right? Okay, because if the door opens out, what's going to happen? Whoosh! All the dogs go running out, and you have no control. You're not going to be able to leash them. Double gates, always important. We did get the double gates up. Deadbolts, very, very important, because why? A dog jumps up, they can unlock the door, and you want a deadbolt. That's another thing too with the door opening out versus in, because if a door opens out and it's unlocked, a dog jumps up, whoop, there's a dog out that was not supposed to be out. And then oh my gosh,
Those
make
have all
sure
been addressed, correct?
they're all, well, yes, yes, but not until we figured out that it was an oops along the way.
Mhm.
As you go, make the same key for everyone. Otherwise, you have 20 different keys, which took a really long time and a lot of organization for nothing. So the locksmith came out after that. You want to get a door that's flat, or the floor that's flat, so that you can sweep out and not have this hook thing. Didn't think about that. We got to frost some of the windows for our feisty dogs that look out the window and want to pick a fight. And so we'll have some frost on there. That way they can have the sunlight, but not pick fights. There's just so many little things that, you're not going to know until you actually dive in and figure it out. But it's special. It's amazing.
Is Oz open to public, or is it appointment only if people want to
No,
come
so
check out?
no, it's always just sign a waiver and then sign up and come out, and we'll give you an orientation. But oh my gosh, Tracy and her nieces, they come out, they hang out in the lighthouses. It's just the cutest thing to see kids sit in the lighthouses with us. As soon as electricity's on, I'm going to put a couple TVs up in there. We'll run cartoons up. We have echoes in each of the rooms so that there's music. It's special. And, the most important thing that any one of us has to give in life is our time. So who and what we choose to give our time to, you're never getting that back. So when you spend it with an animal, I want you to be just as fulfilled as they are, versus, and I know this sounds really terrible, but I was one of those people just I wouldn't go. I would rather pretend it doesn't exist and sleep at night, because it was too hard to go to a shelter. And now, to all the volunteers that go to those shelters, that walk the dogs, that give them a dog date, that spend time with the cats there, you guys are unsung heroes, because I even know that's not something I can do, because I feel physically sick about that. So we all have our strengths. And so what did I know my strength was? I'm not afraid to show the world that can be different and try and fail and try and fail and figure it out. But yet there still is that need. So please don't think that I'm not advocating for you to go to those shelters and do that, because those dogs look to you too, and so do those cats.
Coming up on the holidays for volunteers, are we clearing the shelters to try to get all the dogs into foster homes still with the lighthouses, or are we in need of volunteers to come out, walk, help, so staff has days off?
All of the above. Let's get all the dogs out, but let me just be perfectly honest. We get all the dogs out. I'm putting dogs in there from kill shelters. So let's get every single dog that is in Always and Forever into a home, so that we can save other ones from kill shelters too. It is, our staff, they're so wonderful. Everyone, the behind the scenes stuff, our volunteers that are remote, that give their heart, their soul, their time. I know I say this all the time. This is such a beautiful, intricate puzzle that doesn't exist without every single one. And if you think about it, it starts with the tag, the tag to say, hey, this animal is coming into our care. And then what happens? The freedom drive, the logistics of that, the vet that they go to first, which includes our medical team, and this is dog and cat too. Then where's the animal going to go? Is it going to go to one of our shelters, or is it going to go to a foster? The applications that go behind the scenes, the background checks, the vet checks, the home checks, the annual foster checks, there's just, and then the meet and greets, the staff, the operations. It's just the finance and all the thank you letters that are written out, the payroll. It's amazing. And I say it every day. This wouldn't exist without every single one that gives up so much of their life towards the souls that others threw away. So it's special.
I think that's a good stop. I don't know how it's already almost been 45 minutes.
Wow. I feel like
We
we didn't
almost
even
8
talk
o'clock.
about much. What else? There's a lot of stuff still. We need
Sai, do
another
you have any questions?
No.
um yeah. It's just a lot. And I love chatting with you guys and getting you guys up to speed on things because I know we're all so busy. And then
I love these updates because we
I
get
do
to know,
too.
I see it on Facebook, but then we get to hear the behind the scenes, the
yeah.
stories behind it all, and how the story behind the post, really, I feel like is the podcast.
I love this podcast. It's just special. It really is. I wish we could get more with more people. And
We're
I know
doing it.
time is limited, but we will.
We're getting it. Well, Sai, I think we're at our point. Your favorite part of the episode.
Oh, Jen, do we have a dog for the cover?
I feel as though we talked about Mama Bunny and her puppies. So
We have to give Mama. I feel like we have to give Mama her glory.
let's give Mama Bunny her glory.
Okay.
So
Tell us
she
about Mama Glory. Glory?
She maybe a month and a half old. She got her name Bunny for she just hops around when she's happy. She obviously had 11 babies, so she's a very good mama, and she deserves a family. Foster her forever. In 2 weeks, the puppies will be weaned, and it is in her best interest to go to a home without them. So if you would like to open your heart to her, she's sweet, she's shy, she is so wonderful, and she's worth it.
We will make her our cover dog 100%.
Awesome.
So exciting. I'm trying to think anything else. I think that was like a really good catch up.
Yeah, it was good. I think we covered the main big things that have happened. Of course, tomorrow there'll be something else. There's a lot going on. Every single day is different. And, you know, I think I shared this on a podcast before. When I was lost, to anybody that has been lost in grief or stuck in pain or experienced some type of trauma in your life, you know that time stands still and it just feels like nothing will ever change and there is no light to the end of this darkness. But I remember a very good friend told me once that, when you're suffering, time stands still, but when you're living, time flies. And that's where I say it all the time, just live, just be present. And I have never known time to go by as fast as it does when you're working to save lives. And in so many ways, it's not just the animals, it's each other. So that's the beauty of Always and Forever. It's helped me learn to live again. And it's going by so fast. And in a little ways, it's scary because you want to change the world right now. And I want to do everything right now. Get this lighthouse up. KCMO, we do have our permits. We're working to get our permits in for the lighthouses out there. So that's the next big thing. We plan to put 9 lighthouses out in KCMO. We have, I think, maybe 5 of them, 4 of them sponsored right now. So if you want to sponsor a lighthouse, it's $20,000 to put one up. You can dedicate 2 sides of it. One side is 10,000, but both, is 20. And if you want to, it could be a legacy. I named mine Libby and Mugsy's, and then I sponsored half of the cat lighthouse that's coming, and it's Charlotte's Lighthouse. So it's all of this is just to create a legacy that lives beyond all of us so that 100 years from now, who cares if they know me? Who cares, if they know what I did? It's what we have done and what we hope to inspire others to do as well. So I don't even know what your question was. Did I answer it?
No, there wasn't a question, Jen.
I've got
There
my
wasn't
cheese
a
sandwich
question.
sitting here. I'm getting very hungry, by the way. So I haven't even eaten, and
No,
it's
we are
8 o'clock at
we are
night.
good to wrap up there. Sai, you know what to do.
As always, it's never too late for happily ever after.